day you retired, your brain lost something it had been relying on for decades. Not your salary, not your title. Something far more important than either of those things. And research from some of the longest-running studies of adult health ever conducted shows that most adults never replace IT. The result is a cascade of biological changes that most doctors never connect to retirement, and most retirees never see coming. Retirement is sold to us as the finish line, the reward for decades of work, the beginning of freedom. And for many people, the first weeks feel exactly like that. But research from the Institute of Economic Affairs found that retirement increases the probability of suffering from clinical depression by 40%, and the probability of being diagnosed with a physical health condition by 60%. Not because retirement is bad, but because of what most people do and do not do in the first year after. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what retirement removes from your brain, why it matters more than most people realize, and the 3 specific steps that research consistently shows protect cognitive health through retirement and beyond. Nothing in this video is medical advice. Always consult your physician before making any changes to your health routine. To understand why retirement affects the brain so powerfully, I need to explain what work was actually doing for your brain. Beyond the paycheck. Work provides 4 things that the brain depends on for healthy function: purpose, cognitive challenge, social connection, and routine. These 4 things do not feel like medicine while you are experiencing them because they are embedded in the structure of daily life. You do not notice them until they are gone, and when they disappear simultaneously on the day you retire, the brain registers that loss in ways that are measurable, biological, and in many cases entirely preventable. The first threat is purpose collapse. Research from the Rush Alzheimer's Disease Center followed over 1,300 older adults for up to 7 years and found that those with a strong sense of purpose showed 2.4 times slower cognitive decline than those without one. 2.4 times slower. The effect was independent of age, education, physical activity, and social engagement. Purpose itself, the sense that your life has direction and meaning, was the protective factor. Work provides built-in purpose for most adults. It gives you a reason to get up in the morning, a problem to solve, a contribution to make. When retirement removes that structure, most adults find themselves with abundant free time and no clear answer to the question, what am I here for? The brain does not handle purposelessness well. Research from the NIH found that adults who retired without a clear sense of what they were retiring to, rather than just retiring from, showed significantly higher levels of cortisol, inflammatory markers, and depressive symptoms within the first year compared to those who had a defined purpose replacement. Write that down. Retiring from something without knowing what you are retiring to is one of the most significant and most preventable cognitive health risks available to adults over 60. The second threat is social isolation. For most working adults, the workplace is the primary social structure. It provides daily interaction, shared goals, a sense of belonging, and relationships that feel effortless because they are built into the schedule. When work disappears, that social structure disappears with it. And research from Harvard's study of adult development, the longest-running study of adult happiness and health ever conducted, found something remarkable. The quality of social relationships in retirement predicted cognitive health a decade later more accurately than cholesterol levels, blood pressure, or genetics. A 2023 analysis published in The Lancet found that social isolation in adults over 60 is associated with a 50% increased risk of developing dementia, and that the effect is strongest in the first 2 years after a major life transition like retirement. The transition itself is the most vulnerable period. The specific mechanism is the same neuroinflammatory pathway we covered in video 13. Loneliness activates the brain's threat response, elevating cortisol, increasing microglial activation, and accelerating the exact neuroinflammatory process that drives cognitive decline. Social connection is not just good for mental health. It is directly neuroprotective at the cellular level. The third threat is cognitive disengagement. Work forces the brain to solve novel problems, learn new information, manage competing priorities, and maintain focused attention every single day. These demands, even when stressful, produce the cognitive challenge that drives the BDNF production and hippocampal neurogenesis we covered in video 14. When retirement replaces occupational challenge with leisure activities, the daily neurogenic demand drops dramatically. Watching television, reading the same genres, playing familiar games, these activities have cognitive value, but they do not produce the novel problem-solving demand that keeps the hippocampus actively building new circuits. The University of Wisconsin found that adults who retired without replacing occupational cognitive challenge showed measurably faster hippocampal shrinkage within 2 years. 2 years. Not decades. Years. 3 specific steps. Starting this week. Step 1. Design your retirement purpose statement. 1 sentence. What are you building, learning, or contributing in this chapter of your life? Not what you are relaxing from. What you are moving toward. Research from the NIH found that adults who could articulate a clear purpose statement showed significantly better cognitive outcomes than those who described retirement as freedom from work or a time to relax. The brain does not respond well to absence. It responds to direction. Your purpose statement does not need to be grand. I am learning the piano. I am building a woodworking workshop. I am becoming the person my grandchildren call when they need advice. Any of those is a purpose statement. Any of those gives the brain a direction to organize itself around. Step 2. Replace your work relationships deliberately. Within the first 90 days of retirement, join one group that meets at least weekly. A class, a club, a volunteer organization, a religious community, a sports team. The specific activity matters less than the structure. Research consistently shows that intentional social replacement, deliberately building new social structures, produces significantly better cognitive outcomes than waiting for social connection to happen naturally. Natural social connection in retirement happens slowly if it happens at all. Deliberate social replacement happens in 90 days. One group, weekly, within 90 days of retirement. That single intervention is associated with measurably lower loneliness, lower inflammatory markers, and better cognitive performance in adults over 60 across multiple studies. Step 3. Adopt the enriched learning protocol. This connects directly to what we covered in video 14. Learning a musical instrument, a new language, or a physically coordinated craft produces the hippocampal neurogenesis that work was previously stimulating through occupational challenge. It replaces the cognitive demand of the workplace with something the research shows is equally or more effective. The specific protocol is simple: 15 minutes per day on a skill that requires physical coordination, memory, and focused attention simultaneously. Language learning, instrument practice, pottery, dancing, woodworking, any of these qualify. The skill does not matter. The novelty and the demand do. Retirement is not the problem. The absence of replacement is the problem. Purpose, social connection, and cognitive challenge do not need to come from a job, but they do need to come from somewhere. And the research is unambiguous. Adults who replace these 3 things deliberately in the first year of retirement show cognitive aging trajectories that look fundamentally different from those who do not. You did not work for decades to arrive at a finish line that damages your brain. Retirement is not the finish line. It is the starting line of the chapter that research shows can be the most cognitively rich of your entire life if you approach it with the same intentionality you brought to your career. Drop a comment below. Are you retired, approaching retirement, or somewhere in between? And what is one thing you have found that gives your retirement purpose? Your answer helps every other viewer in this community who is navigating the exact same transition. If this video changed the way you think about what retirement does and does not do for your brain, please share it with one person who is about to retire or who retired recently and has been struggling more than they expected. What they are experiencing is biological. It is documented, and it is entirely reversible. The Reclaim 60 channel covers everything from brain health to heart health to the medications silently affecting your body after 65. All research-backed, all plain English, all designed to help you walk into your next doctor appointment better informed. Subscribe right now so you never miss a video. New senior health research every single week. Every research source is linked in the description below. I will see you in the next one.